All right, we're live. Yeah. Yes, we're live now. We're live, yeah. Welcome back. How are you guys doing on today's Friday? Stalling at 90K and not looking good. Yeah, I think I have an idea. I want to look at a couple things today. I'm just going to go into it because I'm going to assume every day we stream we're going to get less viewers because it could be bearish. So I'm just going to go into it. So we're going to get a monthly candle tomorrow, or I guess on Sunday, which means that December is also going to be down here. So you can actually assume that if we don't rally in December, that January will be bullish, but the top is in. That's what I'm thinking. Because we've never just gone up like this. There's always a bunch of candles in the same spot. So now that November is over and we're still down here, it's almost like telling you, dude, we're stuck down here now, you know? Because if we would have went up today to 92 and then tomorrow, you would have had an argument. But now we're stuck down here. And the bear market says we're not going up. Or the bear market says we're going to be below 100,000 in January or February. So if that's true, like you can just see it. Look, you had 3 red months, 2 green months, and then you went down. Now that November's over, if December's red, then you're seeing the same exact thing, which would be surprising. So December should be green, but not bullish, just green. But if it's red, then January would be green, February would be green, and then March we go straight down. So there's a couple things brewing, honestly. You know? Because we're sitting right on the moving average. I didn't even notice this until this morning. Did you guys realize that when we break this blue moving average, we just go straight up? And when we break it to the downside, we go straight down? Is it this simple? Do you guys think it's this simple and we're just overcomplicating it because that's what everyone does? Like you broke the blue moving average and that was the bull run. You broke the moving average and it was bearish. You broke the moving average and it was bullish. You break this moving average, we're gonna go straight down. I think it's this simple, man. That's why I'm not looking for reasons to do anything, honestly. I mean, it could be this simple. Like literally every time you come down below the green moving average, you come to the blue one. And every time you break the blue one, yeah, there should be another one. Yeah, I think that's what Ben Cohen was saying, essentially. Every time you break the blue one, you go to the red one. So our red one is down at 50K. So we can't go down right now. I think it's this simple, man. I don't think there's a reason to overcomplicate it. Like, it stood the test of time. It's never been wrong. Why is it different this time, man, you know? I just want it over with. Yeah, it's not gonna be that easy. What's gonna happen is, I mean, listen, if we get a big bull run into January, February, fine. If not, we're gonna get less viewers in December, even less viewers in January. People will leave, the views will go down, and then we'll probably go down in March, April, May, and June. That's what I think. And then if it's a bull market, we'll make a new all-time high by January. So in my opinion, if we did not make a new all-time high by January, then you know it's a bear market because the stock RSI has officially crossed bullish, which means the timer has now started to turn bullish. And historically, it's taken about 7 weeks to go from oversold to overbought. This one was 10 weeks, but from the bottom to overbought was 6 weeks. So we already crossed bullish. So if we measure it from the bottom, 10 weeks from now is January, chat. So we'll actually know for certain, which nothing is certain, but if we do not make a new all-time high by January, then it is a bear market. Because look, every time this market cycle, you had to spike up by 10 weeks. This one was 9 weeks. This one was 7 weeks. How much was this one? This one was long. This one was jacked up though. This one was 10 weeks as well. So 10 weeks from last week is January, at the end of January. So if it's February and we're up at overbought and we didn't make a new all-time high and we're still below 100,000, that's your bull trap. So then March, April, May, June would be the crash, I think. And if it's bullish for a bull market, then we'll make a new all-time high in January because that's what happens every single time. I'm not going past that. There's no reason to overcomplicate it past that, yeah? Like honestly, there really isn't. Yeah. 12, dude, the 12-day moving average could be the bottom, actually. I think it is. It's gonna be like 40 something K. It was the bottom last time. Doesn't mean it has to be the bottom again, but that's what it's setting up for. Actually, we might go through it. If we're supposed to bottom here, we're gonna go through this, most likely. Yeah. So I think let me see something. Hold on. I need to make a list. Some. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna, there's not that many people here. I'm just gonna do it on my chart. Alright, never mind. Alright. So we're looking for a break. Yeah, it looks like everything is like 80K. The way that it looks like everything is 80K. So if we fall below 80K, we're going straight down. So we shouldn't do that. Let's see. 8 day. What is the 8 day? Is it the same? Oh, it's the same spot. Yeah. So there's a couple things happening right now. The 2 day Gaussian channel did flip red, but it flipped red here, and that didn't mean anything. It flipped red here, and it didn't mean anything. So it looks like if you get over it, it turns green again. And in 2022, we came up to it, but never got over it. What happened in 2018? 2018, you never got over it. So if we never get back over the 2 day channel, it's bearish. But the thing is, it's all the way up here. So we could go all the way to 106. Yeah, but if it was gonna happen, it would probably look like this. 2 days not reliable though. 3 days not reliable either, but it's similar. You were not able to break over it. Is it red? It's not red yet, okay. So I guess if it turns red, that would be the first one of the many people. Yeah, when the 4 day flips red, that's a warning sign. Yeah, we're below the 4 day too, man. You spent the whole bull run above the 4 day. Now we're below it. So the 4 day will flash before the 5 day. So I want to make another one too. So what are we saying? 4 day. I think that's fair. If the 4 day Gaussian channel flashes red in February, then that means we're going down in March. If it flashes red in January, it means we're going down in February, potentially. Because this flashed red in June and we went down in July. We didn't go straight down, but you never went higher than that. And then I believe the 5-day is what makes the move down. Yeah, the 5-day calls the top directly. So if we come up to 100,000, yeah, everything says 100,000. So when the 5-day turns red, that's it. And then I think 6-day, yeah, 6-day is also straight down. And then I guess the 1 week is it's too late. By the time by the time the 1 week turns red, you're already going down. Yeah. Happy Goyim for 2 says Jesus on ETH. I appreciate the 2. Let's see. Jesus on ETH. Oh wow, MOG is down 5%. Oh yeah, but it bounced. Okay. Jesus on ETH. No justice, no peace. Jesus on ETH. Yeah, you're at the 236 right now. So if you buy in right now, you could be buying the top. A break over 28 would confirm a very large break to the upside. So once Jesus gets over 28, you could say the bottom is in. Break over 24 would send you up to 28. So it's up to you if you want to gamble. Could be short-term bearish still because you're below the 236. Could still be bearish below 28. However, a break over 28 sends it up to 40. So it's up to you if you want to buy at resistance or not. Could break out, could not, but you're at resistance. So technically it's still bearish. But I appreciate the 2. Christmas narrative is there. Well, we didn't get Christmas pump last year. Right? The last Christmas was bearish for this coin, man. Right? The top was already in by the end of November. I don't know. I mean, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you no, but I appreciate it too, though. That's awesome, man. All right. So what's another warning sign? Oh, let's go to the guppy. Guppy's good too. All right, let me get out of here so I can't see. The guppy is a good indicator as well. So I noticed that on the little time frames, like 4 days and 5 days, we are getting a blue arrow, which doesn't mean anything necessarily yet, but you did get a blue arrow here. And you did get a blue arrow here as well. Now, obviously, you've had many blue arrows, but I believe if you fail to get over the guppy, it never turns green, which is 100. Everything's 103,000, man. Everything's 100. It's the same price. There's going to be a lot of sellers at 100,000. Which is why if it's a bull market, we would just blast right through it. So 5-day doesn't help us because we already have that. 6-day, look, even the 6-day as well, you got a blue arrow. So a lot of indicators are saying we're right here, which now that it's about to be December, it is more believable because now if December's green, but it doesn't go that bullish, you could argue December's January, February would be January, and then March would be February. So then we start going down in March, and then the bottom would be in July or June, and then the real bottom is in October. Yeah, I guess 6-day arrow, it's not really useful. About 8-day. Nope, not useful. 9 days. Oh, this is the wrong chart. Oh, 9-day blue arrow could be useful. What about the 8-day? Yeah, the 8-day blue arrows. Yeah, that's actually useful. All right, 8-day blue arrow. So again, the reason this is important is because if all of these signals flash in or if all of these indicators go off in February, then it's letting you know that March is potentially going to be bearish. And again, chat, if we go up and make a new all-time high in January, then it's not a bear market, obviously. So we're under the assumption that until that happens, it is. Why is Bitcoin and ETH stable, but alts take the hit? Did this happen last bear market? The perma bulls say last bear we had inflation in QT, now QE. I appreciate the 5. Yeah, I mean, there's a different narrative every time. So, in 2018, the bear market was really bad for altcoins, which it was bad for 2022 as well. But in 2018, the price of Bitcoin was stable for months. So like you put the low in at 6K a month after the top or 2 months after the top, and then it stayed above 6K for 10 months, 8 months. And that's because the altcoins bled extremely bad. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are supposedly not going to go down as bad as previous bull markets, assuming ETH BTC bottomed. So if you see ETH BTC go like this, then Ethereum could go below the low from 2022. If we see ETH BTC do nothing, then it's just going to follow Bitcoin. So the answer you're looking for, why are alts taking a hit? You have to look at the Bitcoin pair on your altcoin that you're referring to. But altcoins are always bearish. The altcoins are only bullish for about 3 months. It's the run where Bitcoin goes to the all-time high. It happened in 2017, it happened in 2021, and it happened in 2024. After Bitcoin made a new all-time high, historically, that was bullish for alts, but because the top is getting closer to the previous top, the time for the run for the alts is shrinking, if that makes any sense. So the altcoins are just always bearish, but there is a lot of narratives out there. The perma bulls are saying last bear we had inflation in QT, now QE. Again, there's always going to be a narrative. So QE is going to be this year's narrative, and if it happens, then maybe it's bullish. But if it doesn't happen, by the time it doesn't happen, it's already going down. So I'm not going to spend time looking at that because we did that last time and it was still bearish anyway. But there's no guarantees they're even going to do QE. It's just a narrative that's coming up. Same thing with the manufacturing index. The people are assuming it's going to rally, but what if it just goes sideways? you know? That's why for me, I'm keeping it as simple as possible. If the moving averages say we're bearish until proven otherwise. The narrative will come after the price action or as the price action is developing. So even back here, remember when Donald Trump made his meme coin? Like at face value, that's bullish, but the market was turning bearish because all the signals were bearish, and then we went down. The difference this time is we broke the moving average that always holds when we're bullish. So now that it's time for a relief rally, the bullish narratives are going to come in. But if it's a bear market, then we're not going to get through like 104-ish. We would get stuck. And then I would imagine right on schedule, there will be some headline that comes out, such as maybe there is no QE coming. And then everyone would say, oh, the only reason we're going down is because there's no QE. It happens all the time. But the only thing I would say, which obviously for myself too, is whenever you see something on YouTube, make sure you actually look at it on your own and not just because someone said that. Because I saw someone using the PMI chart and they didn't even read it correctly. And then they were saying, well, this is bullish. So that's what I would say. But a lot of altcoins should be bullish for now. But the thing is, we're going to be monitoring that because if you do see altcoins bleeding, even though Bitcoin and Ethereum are not, that is also bearish. Why do I say that? Because in the summertime, coins were bearish the whole time and we ignored it. But what I'm not ignoring, because I cover Doge every single day, is in 2022, even though Bitcoin was making higher highs and higher lows, Doge was still bleeding, which tells us that it's bearish, obviously in hindsight. But you could say in hindsight, sure, but we're doing the same thing again, where now Bitcoin is attempting to bounce and Doge is still in a downtrend, which is too early to say that the downtrend is going to hold. But if we come to January or February and Dogecoin is still stuck inside of this downtrend, just like it was in 2022, to me, it says we're in here somewhere. I mean, Doge is pretty solid on trend lines. Like once you're in a trend, you pretty much stay in the trend. Even back here. So once you're in a trend, it really doesn't deviate too far. Now it's not perfect, but you get the idea. Even for the bullish trend, and once we broke the trend, it was bearish. So Doge is pretty solid on trends. I would imagine that if Dogecoin comes up to 19 cents and doesn't break that level, this is probably the highest it'll go before it goes down. So the reason I'm bringing this up to summarize what I'm trying to say is the altcoins that you're referring to, as you say, why are alts bleeding and everything else isn't, that's bearish. So continue to watch that, because if Bitcoin and Ethereum go up, but coins like Solana and Doge go down, again, on a daily time frame, it's too small to say, but just in general, that is telling us that it is actually bearish overall. It's not actually bullish. So keep that in mind. But I appreciate the 5. Kiddo for 10 says, I just need a 10x, then a 10x, then maybe a 5x. I'll be fine. I appreciate the 10, man. Yeah, it's going to be a long road out of here, but I'm trying to see what could potentially play out on both sides, right? There's no reason to be a perma bear or a perma bull. If we go up and make a new all-time high by February, then we're fine. But if it's February and we're still below 100,000, you're going to have to see what you want to do as far as selling or holding or trying to trade or whatever. But I mean, listen, even coins like FWOG just did a 3x off the low. But again, even that, you'd be trading. You'd have to try and time the bottom. But if you want to try and navigate, like if you could get a 2x on some altcoin, then rotate, that's like, I think, the best case scenario here. Because even though it is potentially bearish, we should be bullish for now because it's too we're essentially too low to go any lower, even if it is a bear market. But again, it's going to be a very big gamble because even if Bitcoin and Ethereum end up being bullish, it's very possible that some coins that you're buying would still go down. So it's going to be a very big mess. The next couple months, I think a lot of people are going to get chopped up. I'm going to try my best not to get chopped up. Maybe I do, but if you just look at the reverse argument from the bull run, a lot of people got chopped up here, even though the market was bullish. Maybe they were shorting, maybe they were longing, maybe whatever. The same thing I think is going to happen here, where we're going to bounce around and a lot of people are going to get chopped up. Same thing happened here. A lot of people got chopped up. Same thing happened here. A lot of people got chopped up. I know when this crash started, I had some money. When the crash ended, I had nothing. When this crash started, I did okay, even though I ended up losing it. I mean, even here, like every time we go sideways, a lot of people lose money. I lost all my money here. I didn't really do anything here. Here I got blasted, and you know, like whenever we enter these chop periods, a lot of people get chopped up and lose their money. And now we're potentially doing this, but it's just the other way around. So like there's not even 100% guarantee that we're going to get up to 100,000 because we could potentially be doing the same thing, especially because the moving averages are so close, where we just get pinched like this, which even here you hit 100,000. But it's very possible that we do something like this, because here's the thing. When these green and white, or when these green and blue moving averages crossed, you were already moving up. And when these moving averages crossed again, you already crashed. So if we continue to do this, the moving averages are going to curl down, or at least the green one will, which means that a break below the blue moving average with the green one crossing down would signal that they're going to cross. But by the time they cross, you're already moving down. Just like when they crossed here, you were already moving up. So, same thing. Well, this one you actually already crossed a long time ago. It was bearish. This one too. It looks like it's shifting over, right? When these crossed, you already crashed. But then again, they crossed bullish, and then the bull run came. This one you crossed bearish, and the crash already came. Then you crossed bullish, and then you could argue the bull run would have been here if COVID didn't happen. This is always going to be debatable, but I don't care because it was 5 years ago. Bull run here. So, I mean, I'd have to imagine if the blue crossing over the green is bullish, then the green crossing back below the blue should be bearish. Which is why if Bitcoin never gets back over 100,000, you're going to get pinched in here, and the price has to do something. But by the time they cross, the move already started. So that's why I go to the smaller time frames too. They're all pretty much saying the same thing, which is why it's chop zone. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So for me, I think the next couple months should be like overall bullish or green. But if we can't get back over 100,000, then it's confirming that it's bearish. So that's why for me, I'm now spending my time looking at a couple of things, because like even here, the 3-day guppy is starting to print blue bars, which you haven't done that the whole bull run. See, the last time you went from green to blue was here. So this is definitely a warning sign, like in advance. Like if you're still in a bull market, you have to go up now. Because once you start printing blue, you start printing red. And then by the time you print red, You know, it's pretty much, it's a confirmation, which is pretty good actually. I wonder if I could get a better time frame, but I appreciate the 10 from Kiddo. Yeah, this is a good one. I like this red super guppy. Could be nice. Could we go a little earlier? Okay, looks like the 3 days the earliest we can go. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So the 3 day in the red. And I just said that. It's already blue. So by the time this turns red, the drop is coming. So if you're bullish, you want to get out of here as fast as possible. The more time we spend down here, the more bearish it is. Which sounds obvious, but like you're seeing it actually be printed on the indicators. So I like that as well. So the 3 day super guppy turns red in advance, which is why it's useful. And then the 4 day turns red as you're capitulating. Yeah. So by the time this flashes red, we're already going down. I might have to put a sweater on. It's a little chilly. All right, I like that. We're gonna be prepared for this. I'm gonna try my best to find everything that I can. Don't forget that this cycle we have BlackRock against us. If they want, they can make the most bearish chart bullish. Right. I mean, that's again, if you have to believe whatever you think is gonna happen. That's all you can really do. Like if you're a believer in the narratives, then you got to follow the narratives. In my opinion, as far as BlackRock goes, why does BlackRock care which way the price goes if they have options? Not options, futures is what I meant. Like you remember when they launched these futures, it changed everything that you know about crypto. They don't care which way the price goes because if they think it's going to go down or they want it to go down, then they just buy a short future or whatever they call them now, you know? So I don't really believe that I don't think they really care which way it goes, honestly. Retail is trapped, that's why the bounce is weak. I mean, we didn't really get the bounce yet. It just started. But I do think December, because remember when January or when November started, we said November and December are usually really bullish or really bearish, and we just had a really bearish November. And not to mention, this is something that shouldn't be overlooked. Every single time you've had a bearish October, it was a bear market. Like that is a fact. Even though it's something that we don't want to hear. This is now, well, unfortunately this chart doesn't load, but we know that October was red. If you look at history, every single time October was bearish, it was a bear market. Now, it's interesting that it was the end of the bear market, you could argue, but how could it be the end of the bear market if we just started going down? So that's another thing to look at. The biggest surprise for us will be fully bearish in December. Everyone is expecting a bounce. Well, it would be unfortunate if we did go down in December, I think. I do think we're going to have to form another candle. I think the first half of December could be bearish because, like I said before, you've never had one wick and then just gone up. Like this whole market cycle, you've had multiple wicks, even here. So I think the first couple days of December should be bearish potentially. And then if the end of December we end up rallying, fine. Which is why, again, if it's January and we're still below 100,000, that is not bullish. That tells me that it's bearish. But I also wanted to look at MicroStrategy as well because MicroStrategy is also starting to signal a couple of things are brewing. You can see already the channel for the 3-day time frame has turned red, also signaling that we're potentially right here. So it's almost like expected to see this, which it's not going to look exactly like this. So don't take that for, like, don't assume this is going to happen. But again, if it comes to January and February and all of these signals that we're looking at start going off, it's probably telling you what's going to come. So 4-day needs to flash too. So 4-day flash and 5-day flash too. So we'll go 3, 4, 5-day MicroStrategy. I am checking under every freaking rock, dude. All right, and by the time the 6-day flashes, it's already bearish, too late. Okay. And what about this? Yeah, I mean, even look, even the blue moving average is in the same spot. Dude, there's just too many similarities. It's really interesting. Yeah, even the 8-day time frame, man, look. So we should get a big bounce on MicroStrategy as well, which MicroStrategy backtested the low, actually went over the low, but you never broke the moving average, which again, our low is going to be right on the, it's actually below the moving average. Yeah, so you went over the low, but not over the moving average. So MicroStrategy could potentially rally back up to 270. So if we're looking for a bear market, we're looking for MicroStrategy to be 270 in March or February. Let's write that down. No, actually, I don't want to fall for prices, honestly. We got the bear signal in the same spot as well. Yeah, wow. I'm telling you, look, it's almost a spitting image. It really is. 3-week bear. Might be too late. 12-day bear could be something. Look, we got the 10-day bear too. Yeah, but this is why I think it's like kind of shifted, because we got this bear signal in February, but we already have it. So all of February and all of March were bullish. So all of December and all of January could be bullish. And then if February we get stuck, then the crash is in March, April, and May. And then if it's a bull market, we'll go up and make a new high in January. But this really doesn't work. What about the super guppy? Yep, blue arrow already. You got a red arrow too. Same thing with this red arrow. But this isn't really useful. MicroStrategy isn't going to be that useful, looks like. Yeah, it's not. All right. What about SPY? SPY's in a bull market though. It's about to make a new all-time high. Can't really use SPY. What about the tether dominance? What do we got for tether? Put it in tether. No, it's not gonna help us. ETH doesn't really help either. Yeah, Solana's already bleeding, man. Wow. Solana's not moving at all, actually. Alright, I guess that's good enough for now. Oh, the 10-day blue arrow on the guppy. That looks like it works. You got an arrow here, arrow here. So 10-day blue arrow. Now, did that happen? So the 10-day blue arrow happens before the moving average breaks. I mean, look, dude, it looks like when you pass through the second half of the channel, you get a blue arrow. Happen both times. And our middle of the channel is again 82,000. So that's a good one. Blue arrow on the 10-day. You could say 8-day blue arrow is a warning sign. 9-day doesn't help. We already got the blue arrow on the 6-day. What about 1 week? Okay, so blue arrow. Yeah, blue arrow could work, right? Because if you got a blue arrow here, you started going down 2 months later. Get a blue arrow here, you went down 4 months later. So if we get a blue arrow, yeah, but we're pretty, I guess if you get a blue arrow in January, you'd go down in March. We could put that 1 week blue arrow. It looks like it's moving over though. I don't like it. Okay, that's good enough for now. And then another thing too is the DMI is a really big indicator, man. So these are indicators that I've had for like years, but we just stopped looking at them because we assumed it was just going to be bullish. That's the problem. So blue crossed over. Yeah, even here, look, the orange crossed over to blue and we bounced. So it's bearish when the orange one goes up. Yeah. This is too delayed. Like by the time you see it, it's too late. It's not gonna help. What about this? Yeah, I mean, dude, you could just look at this, man. Like, dude, this is so bearish. Holy shit. Look at that, man. Dude, it's bad. I mean, like the fact that you have this and then you have, like, it would be one thing if we didn't go down and we didn't break the moving averages. But the fact that we broke the moving averages and we have the sell signals, it's almost like the sell signals said it was bearish in August and the break of the moving average confirms it's bearish. This thing said sell in December and you broke the moving average in December. This thing said sell in March, but you didn't break the moving average. It said sell here and here, but you didn't break the moving average. The break of the moving average, I think, is what confirms the bearishness. Yeah, look at that shit, man. It has to be, I think it has to be over, man. You know? Like, it's not like we're down here, we're up here. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to look at, too. The heat map. It's good. What about this worm? Can we use this? It's not really reliable. I actually, yeah, it is. If the 2 week worm turns red, that's a warning. Doesn't mean it's coming. But I'm not gonna go overboard, honestly. This indicator sucks. There was another one, think. I was just gonna click on it. Oh, this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we talked about this, I think, yesterday or a couple days ago, but we're green now. Candle's green, chat. This is the first time the candle is green all market cycle since we turned bullish. And when you turned green last time, you were here as well. So what are we looking for? Blue? It turns blue. Hmm. Not really consistent. Can't really say that. Yeah, this indicator is not going to help. Yeah, this indicator is not going to help. I mean, it helps now because it's warning you like the market is cooling off. By the time you get to ice cold, the bottom is coming. That's the thing. So it's telling us that we're in a transition period from overheated to cooling off, essentially. Which this indicator was one of the indicators I thought, like I took the average amount of time we were overheated, and that's what gave me the crash in January. I just thought it would be the top, but it wasn't. But we never broke the moving average here. We're already down here. That's why if you combine the two and you look at the difference between 2021 and now, in 2021 you were cold, but you stayed over the moving average. In 2022 you were cold, but you were below the moving average. We're not cold yet, but we're below the moving average. So once it turns cold, it's confirmation that you're here. Or it's more confirmation, I guess. But this indicator does not help me for what I'm trying to see. I think that's enough. I think that's kind of it, honestly. Yeah, I guess that's good enough. All right, let me just see here. That's enough. That should be enough, man. That should be enough for today at least. We don't gotta go overboard, I think. What was overheated? Bitcoin was overheated. Everyone should make a food channel. Even the food channel is getting less views. It's gonna get bad. That's why I have to figure out how I can navigate through this. But man, if this works. Oh, that was another thing too. Hold on, go back. Yeah, I want to use the stock RSI too. But look, man, even the stock RSI is about to turn bullish as we're entering the blue box. And then it fucking turned bearish in 2023, letting you know consolidation. It turned bullish in 2022. So the 6 days should reach overbought, which is why it is technically bullish. Yeah, you reached overbought in 2022. Sorry, 2018 as well. So we're looking for overbought 6 day, 7 day stock RSI. No 104K break. And then the big one, I think, is the 2-week. 2-week stock RSI. Look, every time this bull run, we went from oversold to overbought on the 2-week stock RSI. So failure to do that would also signal that it's bearish, right? So the 2-week stock RSI got stuck, both bear markets. Actually, all 3 bear markets. Yeah, that's a big deal, chat. Look, in 2014, you got rejected. You didn't go overbought. In 2018, you didn't get to overbought. And in 2022, you didn't get to overbought. So if it's a bear market, the stock RSI on the 2-week shouldn't go that high. I like that. Again, everything is pointing to like February, March is the date. So if we have a 6 day overbought stock RSI, but the 2-week RSI is stuck down low, it's bearish as well. I'm starting to get a little this is good, man. This is good. This is good. What about this indicator? Does this help? Does it say to get out? No, doesn't. You got a buy signal here. You got a buy signal back here too. Yeah, we might pump from here. Like it's just so bizarre. It's not bizarre, but we're getting the same indicators. Like, the same indicators are going off at the same time, which is very odd. And we broke the same market structure. Yeah, this indicator doesn't help for what we're trying to do. It's a good indicator for the bull run, right? Like if you buy when this blue dot printed, you didn't get the absolute bottom. But I mean, if you bought at 20K or 15K, it doesn't really matter. Just like if you sold here, like if you sold at 96K, or where is that? Yeah, if you sold at 98K or 120K, like you're not selling the exact top, but it's good enough. And you'd have to play around with the time frames too. But this indicator does not help us, so can't use it. All right. Other YouTubers are saying their views are going down. Yeah, there's nobody here. I'm preparing for the views to really capitulate, honestly. Like we got 165 viewers right now. We were pulling 200 plus the whole way down. So that tells me that it's not capitulation, but it's the period after capitulation, which is where people lose their money, they lose interest, which is bad, but it's confirming again that it's probably not bullish anymore. So I'm bracing for impact, honestly. I think my YouTube channel is going to take a big hit. But it looks like everything points to the end of February. That's what it looks like. It looks like the end of February is the timeline. Because again, now that November is over, you're going to get another candle and it's probably going to be red for the first half of the month. And now you're doing the same thing as 2022. So we would start going down in March, right? Does that make sense? So picture this, right? This candle's obviously going to close red. Now you have two red candles. We don't necessarily have to go down in December because we're already at these price points. But if we just do nothing, then January would be green, February would be green, and then March would be the first move down. April would be the capitulation. May could be the bottom. June, July, August would be bullish. And then you go down for the bottom in September and October. And then the bull run starts again. That's what it's looking like. It's looking like December, it's like shifted over. Well, now is definitely shifted over because November was bearish. Yes, but we didn't go up at the end of November. Like we're still below 91,000. So now you could start arguing something like this. Again, it's not going to look the exact same, but this is the base argument pretty much everyone's making. Yeah, but see this says January we go down. That would catch a lot of people off guard. If we're only bullish for January and February, sorry, December and January. But even this says March is the capitulation. But it's not going to look exactly like this, so don't bank on it. But it's almost like if we went down again for a higher low, and then we rally like this, then the top's in February, and then we go down. $30K, I'm backing up the truck. It shouldn't go that low. I bought Turbo last week and it feels like it's going down. I thought Turbo was up. Turbo was up pretty big today. I'll be right back. I gotta pee. But I like the chart, man. I like the progress we're making. Views just going down alone. I mean, you guys can just see that the views are dropping at an accelerating rate. Look at the video views, they're plummeting. The interest is going to really drop. YouTube is full of Fibonacci experts. Yeah, I'm not watching other people. Everyone, again, I'm keeping it as basic as I can, man. You can just see my LTCN is going to 0. I can't believe I round tripped. Yeah, a lot of people got really wrecked, man. But the whole thing was just a retracement. I mean, you could still sell it now. It's not too late. But what I would say, Chris, is just like last time, yeah, this is actually another good indicator to use. This is a pure retail indicator. Look, this thing started rug pulling, man. Dude, I'm gonna keep an eye on this, actually. Because look, this thing rugged in November. So again, we might be here. So if we're about to go down, then LTCN will continue to bleed and actually go all the way back down to like 250, maybe even $2. I think when it's all said and done, LTCN will be $2 or maybe even below $2. But you can just see that it's just making lower lows and lower highs, and it's even more obvious if you take this off and you just look at it. Like it looks like a meme coin. It's just gonna float around to 0, and then when the bull run starts, you get another rally. But yeah, this is a good indicator to watch because it turned bearish in December. And then keep an eye on LTCN. If this thing breaks the low and we're not going anywhere, that's telling you that it's bearish, man. Because look, we made lower highs in 2022. Yeah, this is going to be a good indicator to follow, LTCN. If it breaks this low, it's going to let us know that we're going down again. Because it turned bullish right away and it turned bearish right away. And it holds up pretty well. I mean, it bottomed in April with the market and it topped in July and August. So it's a pretty strong indicator. But if LTCN breaks this low from April, even though Bitcoin didn't, it's actually letting us know that we're bearish. And the reason I say this, Chris, is because last time when you broke the low, it fell by 40%, but this was a big ass wick. We don't have that this time, so I don't know how low it's going to go, but it should go down at least 40%, which is $3. 50% would be $2.80. But you can see that from the top, when it bounced to the low, was 70%, which MicroStrategy did the same thing. So if we bounce in the spring and it goes like this, you could imagine that if it's a bear market, it's going to go down 70%, which again is 250. I don't think there's a way around it. I think LTCN is coming back to 250. There's just no way around it. You know, it's making lower highs and lower lows. And right now it's like making a bear flag, kind of. So I don't know if I mean, you could do whatever you want, but it still could bounce one more time and then you'll know. Like if we get this bounce, this is a really good indicator. If we get this bounce bullish into January and this thing comes up and gets stuck again, but then starts falling, even though Bitcoin didn't fall yet, it's telling us it's gonna fall, like we're gonna fall. But yeah, in my opinion, there's no way around it. This is coming down here, man. It has to. It's just floating in the air. And the fact that it's doing the same thing it did here as well. I mean, you could just see it is. But the first top was in April of 2021, back here, I guess. Oh no, it actually, yeah, no, this is right. May of 2021. Then you got the big rug pull. Then it made a fake pump in November. So this was the true top in April of 2021. Just like for altcoins, this was the true top. And then you had the fake rally at the end. So it's almost like we're here somewhere. Because this was here, right? This up here is this. This, the fake pump is here. We broke down and now it's forming a bear flag just like this. So if this thing breaks down, it's telling us that we're going down. Now, I don't know if this is the bottom or not. So you'll have to take the risk. But yeah, I appreciate the 5, man. It's unfortunate you got in at $5. I mean, yeah, I guess you did. I mean, you're still in profit. You could see, if it ends up bouncing up to $10, you could still get out. But you should keep an eye on this. I'm not gonna watch it forever. It's on my watch list, but let us know not necessarily what you're doing, but if it makes any type of price movements, because again, this thing started bleeding out immediately. So if we see this break down, it's bearish. But I appreciate the 10, man. I appreciate the 10. What a 5. Appreciate the 5. I came to the live stream and all I saw was a black box and an empty chair. So I decided to leave. Yeah, I think that's what I did. One of the best indicators when a dump is coming, only ETH is green and top coins are on the red. But like, don't you also feel like we should be rallying if the S&P is going to make a new all-time high? I think that's actually bearish that we're not going up. Like the argument is we're going to go up because we're going up on SPY, but we're not going up at all. We're not moving. Which again, out of the last three bear markets, only one time did SPY go down with Bitcoin. So it's almost like the S&P could be bullish without Bitcoin. But what's also true is you've never had a Bitcoin bottom without the S&P going back to the moving average. Which means that if the S&P does not enter a bear market, you're going to go through one of these where it just collapses in a short time frame. We decoupled in the opposite direction. No one gives a shit about crypto. Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I need to relearn everything I know, which obviously I don't know that much, but the whole crypto thing is done, man. Ben made a video about that, did he? Yeah, the big trap too is the Russell 2000. Because we needed the Russell to break out, but it didn't. And then if you go back to 2018, the Russell went up without us. And in 2013 as well. So it's going to be really bad. If we don't go up, a lot of people are going to get chopped up really bad. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible with no distractions. And I think this just paints a beautiful picture for me. I mean, you break this green moving average, you go down to the blue one, you go from the blue one down to the red one. And that's where we are. Now, I remember someone had a market cipher, but it was A. And we had a diamond. I remember they said it was a blood diamond. That means we're never going back up. Yeah, this indicator might be better than the one that everyone else uses. I'm not a fan of these, but yeah, I mean, chat, you even have the same, every indicator is the same. They all say we're right here. Yo, this one actually, yeah, look here too. I don't know, man. Do we want to ignore these signs? I mean, I'm not, but just in general, are we going to ignore these? It's not just one indicator, it's every single indicator saying the same thing. No, this can't be. That's not even an option. A diamond. Oh shit, what is this? Yeah, look, you got a red dot, chat. Red. You don't have a bear yet, though. We got a red dot, but no bear. I mean, dude, you could just see it, you know? Like, don't fight it. Look at how high up this is. Like, at some point, it's got to come back down to this red zone. Which is interesting because on this time frame, by the time it turns red like this, the bottom is already in. Yeah, this could be a good indicator for the bottom, actually. Look, you get a green dot. January of 2023, March of 2019, October of 2015. And these are about 1,400 days apart. So our next green dot would be the end of 2026. But it's like, dude, we're still at 100K. So we just got a mudslide. It's just got a mudslide to the downside. Oh, you did print a bear in 2024. Dude, this has to go straight down. And that's what it does, though. It's like a water slide. It just goes down. So, dude, I think we're prepared. I really do. I could have sworn someone had a different indicator that was very similar. It says bear now. Some indicators are late when they have the signal. Yeah, I know, but all the indicators are saying the same exact thing. And that's why I'm not looking under rocks. The difference between this time and last time is I was looking for like random ass shit. I'm just looking for random shit because there's nothing to do, but the moving averages already confirm where we are. And it's just the reason I'm looking at all these random ass indicators is because all the random ass indicators are saying we're in the same spot. We're above the blue moving average. And it makes sense that the capitulation is moving to the left because Bitcoin's strongest point is when it runs to the all-time high. The problem is the top is getting closer to the next top is getting closer to the break of the all-time high, which is why the bull run is getting weaker. And the RSI supports that, which is why we have to bounce here because the next move down is the capitulation of the RSI. But if we don't go up, it's like you're going to reach that soon. That's why that's another argument for the RSI to bounce. Because you can see that in 2021, the real peak was in November of 2021, or January, sorry. So the bear market didn't start here, but that was where the weakness began. Our weakness began all the way back here in March of 2024. Now, you can see again that the bottom in the RSI was not the bottom in the price, but it was before in November. Yo, was it the bottom in 2015? Yeah, it was. Okay, so the RSI did actually bottom both prior cycles, but last time it didn't, and it's not gonna this time either, because this peaked significantly earlier than the top. So I actually think us bouncing now is imperative because the bounce will come and then the rollover will put us to oversold, but it's not going to be the bottom because the top was so early. If that makes any sense. Is this going to be 540 days? No, it's way longer. 700 days. You know? It could be, man. That's why I'm telling you, like, I'm not telling you as an analyst because I'm not an analyst. I'm just telling you to watch this rally we get because if we get stuck at 100K and it's January or February, it's telling you that the capitulation is in March or April. Because if you think about it, if we start moving down in March, we get a big red candle in April and May, and the bottom is in June. You have July, August, September, and then the bottom's in October, and the bull run starts again. And the thing is, if we're at 100K in February, now we got to go from 100K to 40K in what? March, April, May, June, July, 6 months, 5 months. I think July and August are going to be bullish. Are July and August historically bullish months? July was bullish in 2025. July was bullish in 2024. Well, when I say bullish, I mean green, not bullish. But obviously, if the candle's green, then we're not going to go down. Yeah, if you actually look, man, July is a pretty decent month. Like, it's usually green for Bitcoin. So I have a feeling that July is going to be green. Yeah, it was green in 2018 too. But it could be green if we crash in May and June. Then you get a relief rally in July, and then August is the top, and then the crash down is September, October. Then you do nothing until January, and then the bull run starts again. But the data says July is going to be green. Like you had one red July in the last 10 years, dude. Which you could say the same thing for October, so there's no guarantees, but I mean, look at this. Yeah, in the last 10 years, you've had two red Julys. So if the bottom is in June, then we bounce in July and August, and then we crash in September, October for the real bottom. That would mean that the crash could be in February, March, April. Well, no. The crash would be March, April, May, June. Ben said 70K could be the bottom. That's not happening, man. Like, obviously, Ben is much smarter than I am, but I think he's underestimating the power of the new all-time high. You're never gonna get that euphoria that he's talking about because the top is getting closer to the all-time high now. Which is why I explained earlier the indicators all topped here because this was the euphoria. The euphoria that he's referring to doesn't exist anymore. Which again, I'm not acting like I know or I'm discounting what he's saying, but I mean a 70K bear market, that's not even a bear market. We're already at 70K. That's another 40%. He probably didn't say that. I know the chat likes to skew words too, so he probably didn't say that. Because the video that I saw, he was talking about the moving average, and it's all the way down at 55K. And we went through it last time. So, I mean, you guys are probably not hearing the whole video, which people do that, so I'm gonna assume that's what it is. But even if we went down to the moving average, like we went through it last time. And the reason why I believe we'll go through it again is because look at how fast we went down from the green to the orange. Sorry, we went down from the green to the blue. That was the fastest time in history. Like, they're so close together now. So if we go below this, you can speculate that the bottom should be between 40 and 60K. Which there are other people that use really large time frames. But even here, we went below the monthly moving average, which again would be like 50K. And then what I also like to point out too is the bottoms are getting closer together, just as the tops are. So you can measure your diminished returns from any kind of point, honestly. So we went from 80x to 18x to 3.8x. It's getting slashed pretty bad. So let's just assume This is like 200%. That puts us at 46K. And that's a random ass number. If it's lower than that and it's like 170%, then it's 42K. And then another reason why I think that could be the case is because if you measure the moving averages, the break of the moving average to the move to the bottom, this one was 54%. This one was 45%. This one was 50%. So you're looking at 40 to 50% from the moving average. Well, 40% is 46 and 50% is 41. So you're probably going to get at least 50,000 for Bitcoin. That's what I think. And the logarithmic regression is down there too. I think if you buy Bitcoin at 50K, you might not buy the exact bottom, but you're getting close enough. Like that would be like buying at 20,000. That's what I think. But I'm not an expert. I'm just another schmuck. So take that for what it is. And then another thing too is Michael Saylor's entry point is 75,000. So once we break 75,000, the market is going to enter suffocation where everything just goes to zero. Which again, MSTR should get a bounce and then the suffocation comes. Which if MSTR bounces up to 250, yeah, it should go to $100, I think. Yeah, I think $100 is fair for MSTR, honestly. You'd still be up almost 6x from the bear market. Retracing the whole Tesla pump would be, yeah, but stocks are bullish anyway, man. This is actually getting close. This is getting pretty close. But this would be the money print in here. Isn't Tesla? Yeah, Tesla's 1 trillion. I need $45 MSTR. That shit ain't happening, bro. I don't see it happening. $45 MSTR, that's way too low. I think you're gonna be disappointed, man. Stocks are always bullish. Why don't you cover stocks? Because this is a crypto channel. There's more hype in crypto. Well, at least there was. I just don't see it being this simple, though. You know? Like, even the MicroStrategy chart says the bottom is in October. But how could it do the same exact thing twice? That's not really... I mean, it is, though. That's why it's like so... What are we overcomplicating it? Maybe it's just gonna bounce and then the crash is in February. Maybe it's this simple. Maybe it is. And we're just, I mean, I'm not overcomplicating it. I'm just looking at it. But I think a wild card is the S&P is not falling unless it's about to, right? If we turn bearish in December for the S&P, then it's the same shit. Because the S&P always tops about a month or two after before it gets a correction. Even this year, this thing topped in February and we topped in January. So maybe we go up for a new all-time high. I mean, even back here too, you can see Bitcoin topped much earlier than the S&P did, almost 60 days in advance. We're coming up to that. What if the Fed does, yeah, maybe the Fed's gonna say some shit in December and that's bearish. And the S&P says, never mind, we're going back down. Whoops, wrong way. Back up, back up. 36K Bitcoin. We're not going that low, bro. 36K Bitcoin is way too low, man. You know how many people? Well, I guess half the people aren't even getting out, but it's a nice thought, but la 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 la. You guys remember that? La 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 la. SPY is super volatile. If it doesn't break 700, it's bearish. Well, SPY is about to get a really big move in the coming weeks. So either it's going vertical or we're getting a bear market. But the thing is, it's already moving up and we're still at 91K. So we might already have a bear market for Bitcoin. But if you start looking at the BBWP for the S&P, it says you're going to get a monster move in the coming months. Monster move. I need to max win my money. Are expecting any upward move this night? Maybe not tonight, but over the coming weeks, we should be bullish technically. Monster move up or down, no one knows. But when has Bitcoin ever printed a red candle and not been in a bear market? Only COVID. You know, I'm seeing people on X say that the bull market's not over because Bitcoin always has 3 green candles. You know how fucked up that is to say? Like people will just make and I've done it too, so I know. Like people will just make reasons to be bullish. Bitcoin has 3 green candles every time, so we have to have a bull run. But do they not understand? I actually think that's why it's bearish. Yo, they're not understanding, and I said this a long time ago. They're not accepting that the third candle is exponentially decaying. So that's why this one is red. They're not going to tell you that though, because that's not bullish. But look at the size of the candles. That's why the next bull market, you might have 2 red candles in a row. I mean, technically, if we got to 93,000, you'd have 3 green candles. Dude, I could see that. Actually, if we pump to 94,000 by December, you'd have 3 green candles. That would actually be really bearish. Dude, I don't know. I'm trying to find a way to be bullish. I just don't see it. If Bitcoin pumps to 94,000 by the end of December, you now have 3 green candles. But I mean, this one was almost bearish by itself. And if you take it off log, it just looks so bad, man. Look at fast token. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is. You know what else you have to keep a watch on? When name brand coins start rug pulling. Actually, and like liquidity pools being drained and stuff like that. The next bull one is going to be 3 red candles. I wish someone would make a logarithmic regression. But for Bitcoin. You know, there isn't one. If you put volume in there, every bull should run to the hills. Well, the volume goes down because people are trading less Bitcoin because it's 91,000. I'm pretty sure the volume declines every bull market. And this another thing too, even the freaking tether dominance is doing the same exact thing. You don't think that's bizarre? This actually says we're crashing. The crash starts in January, which is what MicroStrategy says. MicroStrategy says the crash starts in January. But if the crash starts in January, then we got to start going up now. Like December. December would be very bullish if the crash is in January. If December is not that bullish, then the crash is probably going to be in February or March. But either way, it's like if you don't make a new all-time high by January, it's bearish. So it's like, what is it going to look like? Nobody knows. Wojak on Soul did 1000x. Yeah, it's impossible to get that stuff. I give up on that. It's really impossible to get that move. So what happens to ETH BTC? It turns bullish. What about total 2? Is that still bullish? Indicators don't work. Yeah, I can't even use the moving averages. Yeah, you can't even do shit with this. Can't. Doesn't do anything. Oh, this does. Yeah, look, you're bouncing off the middle of the channel. Same thing happened here. 2018, once you broke through, that was it. Actually, wait a second. No. All right, well, the highlights are that the smaller time frames, we got a watch list ready. I mean, if we see the 4-day channel flash red in January, that's a foreshadow that we're going to go down in the coming months. The 3-day, I think, is already red. Oh, it's not red yet. Okay. It's not red. 2 days red. But that's not enough to make any assumption. 2-day being red. But not a bad setup today. We got a lot done today. I think this is gonna work. I think this is gonna work. But I mean, again, you can just see the amount of time that we spend down here. Like, when have we ever had a V recovery this whole bull run? Never. You spent 42 days down here. You spent 42 days down here. 42 days for us is at the end of December. So if we're still down here at the end of December, that's not bullish, man. That's bad. You're over the 4-hour channel. That's a good sign in the short term. Now we're hitting the 8-hour channel. What happened in 2022? Okay, in 2022, you popped out the other side. So if BTC can push up one more time, you should get all the way to 100,000. This is a good sign, maybe. Fed meeting next month. Isn't that on the 10th? Yeah, I think Doge is also going to be a telltale. If Doge can't get out of this channel, it's bearish. We really should get a rally though, man. Oh, the stock RSI is overbought now. Uh-oh. Yeah, but look, the 2-day stock RSI made a higher high. That means the trend is potentially breaking. Bitcoin Bajan for 10 says, can we look at Swift Coin? Everything rides on that for me. Fingers crossed. Need at least 9 cents. I appreciate the 10, man. That's awesome. Swift Coin. I'm assuming you bought back in, you said? Wait, I thought we talked about the possibility of getting out here. Didn't we say this? You could spike back up and make a lower high. So you're not getting out, you're just gonna hold it all the way. So you're looking for 9 cents. That's all the way up here, right? If we take a fib from the high down to the low, you can see that you've had a failure to get back over the 236 retracement at around 6, which means as long as this coin is below 65, it is bearish. Now, if you end up getting another spike, if Bitcoin gets a big rally, and you have another failure to get back over the 382 at 95, it is still bearish. So the odds of this coin hitting 9 cents are almost zero, I would argue, because this coin topped out in January of 2025. Now, if she ends up getting over 95, you could still have a nice rally all the way up to the 786 at 26. But these prices are strictly limited to a bull market. I think in the short term, again, the failure to get back over 65 will confirm that this is bearish. So technically this coin is still bearish right now. Actually, it's extremely bearish. If it ends up getting rejected at 95, it's bearish. So you're looking for 9 cents. Unfortunately, I can't give you that price target. But I think if you can get to 95, that could be a good exit. But again, there's no guarantees because you can't even get over to 236, which is bearish. So I would say bearish below 66, bullish above. It's up to you if you want to hold or not, but it is considered bearish in my opinion. I appreciate the 10. I bought back in, FOMO buyer. Yeah, the FOMO is going to hit. I think if you can get over 65, you should be able to hit 95. But the question is, will it break? And I don't know if it will. But yeah, I would say this is still bearish below 965, man. I do appreciate the 10. This says at the end of November, ETH BTC went up. Yeah, but ETH USD still fell. So there's not even a guarantee. Did ETH fall less than Bitcoin? 55%. No, they fell the same. I don't know, man. I don't know if ETH BTC's bullish argument is going to translate over to the USD pair. Clocked up some watch minutes for you yesterday. I appreciate that. Yeah, the food channel's starting to die already. I went from 300, 400 views to 200, and now I can't get 100. Even though it's only been one day, so we'll give it time. But people are just capitulating all over the place, man. I appreciate the 10 from Mr. Bajan. Yeah, man, maybe it's really simple. Maybe we just do this again. But even this says crash in February. Yeah, I'll be honest, man. If we don't make a new high by January, that's probably our last chance to get out. Look at this, even this thing too. It says get out in February, bottoms. Yeah, because this thing didn't top with Bitcoin, it topped by itself. So if you drag it over, it says we're already in the bounce. And then again, you go straight down in March. Yeah, I think we're shooting, if it's a bear market, you're shooting for February, March for the rollover date. So if we make a new all-time high before that, then it's not bearish. I'm surprised MSTR didn't really move. I'm surprised MSTR didn't bounce. Because even if you get a retracement, this is such a large move down. Yeah, it could go to 210. I guess if MicroStrategy's at 245 by March, that's it. So if it's 245 in March, and then we go down 50 to 60%, it would be $95. Yeah, I think that guy in the chat that wants $45 is having a pipe dream, man. I mean, I've had pipe dreams too. $45. This guy's smoking. What are you smoking, dude? $45. Holy shit. Even if you just put this on there, it says 120. But I don't know if that's not low enough. What about Zcash? I thought Zcash was going down. Didn't they detonate to C4? Yeah, I don't know, man. That doesn't look good. Ben is not talking about the rainbow. Yeah, the rainbow sucks, man. If someone's talking to you about the rainbow, don't watch. Not financial advice. Because we were here in 2022 and they added another band at the bottom. There was no purple back in the day. It was blue. Then they added a purple one. So they could just add all the shit that they want, which is bearish. I'm telling you, we gotta start readjusting shit and like making changes. That's not good. Same thing for perma bears. When we start going up and they start scrambling, it's bullish. That's why I'm not scrambling. I'm accepting my fate. Every single indicator that I see that's not manipulated says we're right here. And the views say the same thing. Because the views did pretty well up until here, and then the views died. And then this was even worse. My YouTube channel will be non-existent in 2027. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Hopefully, that's so far away. Hopefully I got something going by then, I hope. Ben's a sad puppy. Yeah, I saw he's not really that happy anymore. I don't know why. Peanut will melt faces. Yeah, I saw a black squirrel today. Like a legitimately black squirrel. They're very rare. It was charcoal. I think we're all right. I think we'll figure a way out of here, chat. I think we'll be all right. Listen, if we get a bull run, we got to go up from now until January. If we get stuck at any time before that and it's February and we're still below 100K, I think you know the rest of the story, man. But we'll leave it there. If you are new and you could subscribe to the food channel, the link is in the live stream. Trying to get to 600 subs. If you guys haven't watched the flatbread, it's only 3 minutes. If 50 people in the live stream go watch this video, that'd be nice. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm preparing for the worst over the next 2 to 3 months. The views are gonna really capitulate bad. So holding on for dear life. But as always, none of this is financial advice. Appreciate all the support, the super chats, the subs, the members. We'll be back tomorrow. Will we? Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's stream is going to be late, like 4 or 5 o'clock. So, yeah, late stream tomorrow. So 24 hours from now, roughly, I should start streaming again. But all right, gentlemen and the 3 ladies, enjoy your day. We'll be back tomorrow. None of this is financial advice. I appreciate the support, and bye.